How y'all doing today? It's your boy Jermaine from Shovel Nose Hogs, back with another video. And so with this video, I want to talk about the Arctic gene in Western hognose snakes. If y'all been watching my videos, last Saturday, I picked up a new snake. She is labeled a female Conda Arctic. And I really wanted to get another Arctic. I have a male albino Arctic because in the future, I want to produce super Arctic. So I was like, I either need I just need a female that has the Arctic trait. So I picked her up. The guy has been breeding Arctics. He had like pretty much a wide selection of available snakes he was trying to get rid of. He had super Arctics, he had regular Arctics, male and female, and then he had two sub-adult female Arctic Condas. And so he showed me the picture of the two females that he had, and I ended up picking the one that I have because she was lighter. She was a lot lighter than her sister, who was more of a brownish color. And he was like, man, I don't know why she's so light. She probably has other genes in her that he didn't really know. So I was like, yeah, I definitely want that one. And so I know that once I pair her with my Arctic albino male, it's gonna be like a 25% chance, or I'm not sure the ratio, but it's gonna be a chance that some of the babies are gonna come out normal. And so I just wanted to kind of do more research to see how to distinguish a normal Western hognose with a hognose with the Arctic gene, just so when I start selling my snakes, I can properly label them. And then kind of doing that research, man, I went down a rabbit hole. And after all I've done hours of research, looked at hundreds of pictures, read everything I could on the internet, looked at all the videos I could, looked at all the snakes on Morph Market. And I've come to the conclusion that I don't think my snake has the Arctic gene. So with this video, I'm gonna break down some of the characteristics that I found with the Arctic gene, and I'm gonna show you pictures of my snake, and hopefully an expert or somebody that's familiar with the Arctic gene and has bred them can kind of give me further clarification and maybe tell me if it's not the Arctic, what do you think it is? Because I have a feeling that I know what my snake is. So I went on Facebook, and Facebook has been a lifesaver. If you type in, I'm a member of a whole bunch of different hognose groups, and if you type in any one of those groups the word Arctic, it'll bring up all the posts that have Arctic in there. And it's been a lot of people that asked the same question as I did. What are the markers of an Arctic Western hognose? And so the best explanation I found was on Facebook, and I'm gonna read it out. And so I'm gonna use all the characteristics that this guy mentioned, and we're gonna compare that to my snake. So let's get started. So the first characteristic that this guy says, the Arctic gene, one of the characteristics is very black bellies with partial white or reduced color checkering on the bellies. And so my snake has a jet black belly. But that doesn't necessarily mean that she's an Arctic. Almost all Condas or the anaconda gene produces a jet black belly. And so since she has that gene, that's probably what's giving her the jet black belly. So I'm probably gonna knock that characteristic off in terms of the Arctic. So the next characteristic he had, aberrant belly patterns, especially near the anal plate. And so aberrant, I had to look that word up. That means different, special. And so she does have a little speckling around her vent. So I'm like, okay, but other hognoses have that as well that aren't Arctic. So we can knock that off. Now, the next characteristic, the body is reduced in color, usually gray, whitish, and sometimes bright yellow and white. My snake definitely has that. She's very light compared to a lot of other hognoses, especially the Conda gene. Usually the Conda regular hognoses have more of a brownish color. She has more of a white color. So that could be a characteristic of the Arctic gene. Now the next characteristic, an odd head and neck patterns are another characteristic. So this is something that I didn't really understand. I've been seeing this a lot. They said that the head and neck patterns are different, aberrant. They always use that term. I don't know what that means. To me, her head pattern, and looking at hundreds of pictures of Arctics, the only hognose that I see that has a distinct head pattern are the caramels, and that's because they have a reduced pattern. A lot of them don't even have head patterns. or the super Arctics have a reduced head pattern. But for the most part, when you look at normal hognoses and other morphs, to me, they have similar head patterns, and I couldn't really see anything that distinguishes an Arctic from a normal or any other kind of morph. So I'm not sure about that. The next one, now these next two characteristics are the ones that I found that are probably the best characteristics for an Arctic, and I don't think my snake has it. So listen to this. The saddles are a really big giveaway. They tend to have a lot of concentrated black, especially between the scales on the saddles, and have green and bright yellow flakes on the saddles. So the little patterns along their body usually has little patches of dark or black melanin. So especially sometimes the Arctics that are really, really noticeable, a lot of their patterns are outlined by the dark black color. And then some of them just have speckles of that dark black. My snake doesn't have any of that. And so the next one that I found a lot of Arctics have, I think this is the best characteristic for an Arctic. The pattern on the face is bordered by white striping, and usually more white than a typical hognose, and concentrations of melanin on the edges of the head pattern. So I usually see this with the Arctics. Around their head pattern is usually outlined in black melanin. And my snake has a little bit of it, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Not enough that I'm saying, okay, she's she's Arctic. But I don't know, man. I think the lack of melanin around her other patterns along her body is just like really got me questioning if she has the Arctic in her. But then I seen this super Arctic that had the brown color, because usually the super Arctics are really black. But then look at this super Arctic who has a brown pattern. So maybe, this is the same kind of genes that my snake has. I don't know. But with all that being said, I don't think she is an Arctic. This is the combination I think she is. I think she is an anaconda with the RBE pastel gene. So the RBE pastel gene lightens your animal up. And so with the conda, she has a reduced pattern, and that pastel gene will kind of turn that brown into more of a white color. And I've seen a lot of snakes with that combination look just like my snake. So what do y'all think? Do you think my snake has the Arctic gene in her, or do you think she's just a regular conda? Please leave your comments in the description below. I'm gonna keep her regardless. I still like her color. I just may not get that super Arctic. I may just pair her with my conda male Steve and maybe get some super condas instead of trying to get that super Arctic. But hopefully y'all enjoyed that video. Your comments would really be appreciative to me, and I'll see y'all with the next video.